Hello everybody, how you doing? This is Mr. Dowse. In this video, I'm going to solve fairly challenging order of operation problems, or I'm going to cover a step here that I didn't cover in my first two videos. But if what I'm doing here is a little too challenging, I've got a beginning level problems and intermediate level problems. But if you understand what I'm doing, by 9 or 10, then you're probably good for number 11. So let's look at here. So again, order of operations, this is how you solve mathematical expressions. And I just tend to remember PEMDAS, right? So you do solve any expressions with parentheses first, and then you do exponents second, and then you do any kind of multiplication first, or division or multiplication next, and then addition subtraction is the last thing you should be doing whenever you do order of operations. So number 9 isn't very challenging, but I didn't actually cover how to deal with exponents. So notice on number 9 there's no parentheses, so step 1 can be ignored because that's for parentheses. Step 2 it says simplify any numbers with exponents. So 2 squared is just 2 times 2, that's 4, minus 1, so that's step 2. Step 3 says solve expressions involving multiplication and division from left to right. There's no multiplication or division, so that one can be kind of skipped over. Step 4 says evaluate expressions involving addition and subtraction from left to right. So there's only one thing we can do here. So from left to right, it doesn't really matter. But 4 minus 1 becomes 3, and then that is the answer. And I'm a big fan. If you're not quite sure if you know what the answer is, as long as you can check your answer in the calculator, just to be sure and make sure that you did get it right if you're confused at all. So I did plug this in my calculator. I got 3. So I'm 100% positive that I solved this problem correctly. Number 10, though, gets quite a bit more challenging. I've got these little brackets in here. I've got parentheses, we've got subtraction, we've got multiplication. So the only thing I don't have is exponents. So exponents can kind of be skipped here. But we are going to be dealing with step 1, 3, and 4. So step 1 says, or if you want to do PEMDAS, says we need to simplify anything involving parentheses. But if you look a little bit closer, always solve the innermost parentheses or brackets first. So when I say innermost, notice how these parentheses are inside these brackets. I need to solve that expression first. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to write these brackets down again. I have a 5, but 8 minus 3 becomes 5. And then we have this times 4. So I've simplified the innermost parentheses. Now I need to take care of this bracket. So 5 times 5, that becomes just 25. And if you want to, you could kind of get rid of those brackets in general and just write it down as 25. So that takes care of the parentheses. Now we're skipping exponents because they don't exist in this problem. Now step 3, solve expressions involving multiplication and division from left to right. Well, there is multiplication here, so I can do 25 times 4, and you get 100. That is your answer. And if you want to just double check that you're right, there aren't any brackets, at least the calculators that we use for the TI-84 plus CE. So what I can do is I can use parentheses, though, instead of the brackets. And just type it exactly as you see this, as you see it in the problem. So notice I've got 2 sets of parentheses instead of a bracket in parentheses, and then times 4. And if I hit enter, notice we get 100 as well. So that is the right answer to this problem. And then the last problem I have is just a whole bunch of stuff in one big problem. And this 11, I wish I moved this over. That's just number 11. So this is just 6 times whatever. So this is pretty wild, right? Because we've got parentheses here. I've got an exponent, another set of parentheses or brackets, if you will. There's addition, subtraction. There's even a multiplication in here. So this is really a challenging problem. So again, we're going to deal with parentheses first. We're going to simplify any expressions dealing with parentheses. So I need to simplify this expression first. So this expression becomes a 3, right? So the 1 plus 2 is 3. So I just simplified one thing there. And then from there, I need to simplify this expression here. So I'm re-evaluating this expression and using PEMDAS. So initially, this whole expression needed to be simplified. So that involved parentheses. So I simplified those parentheses first. Now I need to handle exponents within this expression. So 3 squared becomes 9. And then we're still, so this expression from the first, the original problem to the second step to the third step here, this is all just evaluating the very first expression within one of the parentheses. So again, I'm following the order of operations within these parentheses here. So I took care of the parentheses first, and then I'm dealing with the exponents, and now I'm going to end up subtracting here. So the innermost parentheses were taken care of. Now the outermost parentheses are being simplified. And so now that all this is essentially done, we basically have just 6 times 5 minus 7. So I'm done with step 1 because we've simplified the parentheses and brackets. There's no more exponents because those got simplified out. Now I'm dealing with the multiplication and division. So the first thing I have to do here is, from left to right, is we got to handle any kind of multiplication and division. Well, 6 times 5 is 30. So there's no more multiplication and division, so step 3 is done. Step 4 says to evaluate expressions involving addition and subtraction. Well, 30 minus 7 becomes 23. And that is the expression simplified as much as possible. There's a lot going on there. But man, oh man, oh man, this is just so much going on in here. I'm going to type this in my calculator. So I just want to double check this here. I've got my 6. I've got 2 sets of parentheses. I've got my 1 plus 2, close parentheses, raised to the power of 2, minus 4, close parentheses, then minus 7. And I should get 23 as well, and I did. So I know for sure that that is correct. And hopefully this helps you understand how to solve these really challenging problems. But if you have any questions beyond this, please come to tutoring, and I can answer any questions you have as well. So beyond that, hope this helps you out. Have a good day. Bye-bye.